What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today I want to talk to you about some legislation that's being pushed, because when we learn about this legislation, you're going to see exactly where the bosses want to take us, the direction that they want to go. You're already realizing, if you're paying attention and you're reading and you're watching current events, you're realizing that the bosses are already undermining workers at every turn. You're already seeing it. And when I say the bosses, I'm talking about the owners of government. I'm talking about the bosses that buy legislation, the bosses that make sure that wages stay low, the bosses that unions have been fighting forever. Those are the bosses that I'm talking about, the robber barons. Today, they're not Rockefeller. Today, they're not JP Morgan. Their names are different. The mission is the same. We're just in a different time, different era, same fight. We need to look to tactics that we've learned along the way that were successful in defeating those bosses, and utilize those tactics once again. Because if we do not, the fall to an earlier era where workers had no rights is going to be a painful one, and it is an onslaught that's coming. This bill is only further proof. Just remember, child labor laws, that's a result of wins by unions fighting for working people. In Florida, this is on CBS News' website, Florida bill to allow teens to work overnight hours on school days moves forward. Teens to work overnight on school days. Talking about graveyard shift. I worked the graveyard shift. I know how tired I am. Can you imagine having to go to school? Let's take a look. A year after lawmakers relaxed Florida's child labor laws, a divided state Senate panel on Tuesday gave initial approval to a measure that would further roll back work restrictions for kids as young as the age of 14. The proposal, which builds on the 2024 law, sparked heated debate, with critics of the plan saying it would lead to exploitation of children, and proponents calling it a parental rights issue. Expanded work hours for Florida teens. The bill is called SB 918, and it would do away with restrictions on 16 and 17-year-olds who would be able to work more than 8 hours a day on school nights and over 30 hours a week while school is in session without mandated breaks. In addition, the measure aims to remove restrictions for 14 and 15-year-olds who have graduated from high school or are homeschooled or attend a virtual school. The bill's sponsor is State Rep Jay Collins, the Republican from Tampa. He told the Senate Commerce and Tourism Committee that the bill would bring Florida into line with federal labor laws. Most of the jobs held by teens are in safe environments, such as grocery stores. This is according to Jay Collins. Ultimately, we're not talking about The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. We're talking about them working at Publix, at Piggly Wiggly, or jobs within the industry, Collins said, referring to the book that exposed bad working conditions in the meatpacking industry. This is a parental rights thing. Parents know their kids best. But Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith, Democrat from Orlando, said the bill could allow employers to force young people to work long hours or risk being fired. Smith suggested the changes are being floated to help fill employment gaps that were triggered by the state's crackdown on illegal immigration. He also questioned the rationale for allowing children as young as 14 to work overnight hours on a school night if they are homeschooled or enrolled in virtual school. This bill is going to lead to exploitation of minors, exploitation of children, Smith argued. Senator Tracy Davis, Democrat from Jacksonville, reiterated comments from various young people who spoke against the proposal and outlined potential problems if the bill becomes law, such as sleep deprivation, academic decline, or increased pressure on students who are working to help their families financially. The bill takes away basic safeguards for children, Davis said. There is something detrimentally wrong with what we're doing here in this legislation, she also added. The legislature last passed a law that maintained a 30-hour work week limit. Let's read that again. The legislature last year passed a law that maintained a 30-hour work week limit for 16 and 17-year-olds when school's in session. But it allowed parents and guardians or school superintendents to waive the 30-hour limit. So this is what they're doing down in Florida. They're passing bills to widen how much children can be used as part of the workforce. One of the victories that came out of the labor movement was child labor laws. Taking kids out of the mines, taking kids out of the factory, taking kids out of dangerous situations and allowing them to be children, not forcing them to be adults too early. But the income inequality was so bad that a lot of parents back then had no choice. So they had to have their kids working to help. If you notice, the wages have been stagnant. They haven't raised the minimum wage. Cost of everything is going up. My grocery cart is getting lighter, but the bill stays the same. I know you're experiencing life just as I am because we live in the same communities. We have to get back to basics and advocate and fight for our communities, where we live, the kids in our communities. We have to get back to fighting for that. The labor movement has to relearn what unionism is supposed to be. We are the sword and the shield of the working class, and we need to be that, especially today when the bosses think that they have won and they are ready to take over everything. We need fighters. My name's Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Remember, the fight's not left and right, it's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one, get out there and reach one. And remember, there could be no union without you and I front and center. So let's go. Peace.